Hey guys, my name is Dice Rollin', and today we're going to be taking a look at the first cartoon movie I have reviewed on this channel. Featuring everyone's favorite mystery gang, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is seen by many as one of the most unsettling Scooby-Doo movies. It was directed by Jim Stentrum and features the voice work of Frank Welker as Fred, Mary Kay Bergman as Daphne, B.J. Ward as Velma, Billy West as Shaggy, and Scott Innes as Scooby-Doo. Mark Hamill, Adrienne Barbeau, Tara Strong, and Jim Cummings even lend their voices to some characters here. It was a direct-to-video released on September 22nd, 1998, and has been giving kids nightmares ever since. So without further ado, this is my review of Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. The movie opens with the gang on yet another sleuthing adventure that ends in the typical fashion of them literally unmasking the villain. This was all a recounting of the events by Daphne as she's being interviewed. The group had split up some time ago, due to each of them being rather discontent with all their mysteries ending with some dude in a mask. Daphne and Fred run a successful TV series. Shaggy and Scooby work in an airport as customs security, or used to, and Velma owns a mystery bookstore. Since Daphne and Fred are planning to start a new season all about real haunted places across America, Fred decides to surprise Daphne on her birthday by getting Mystery Inc. back together. They all head to Louisiana to start filming and sleuthing. We're given a montage of several different cases that turn out to be the same old thing that the group had gotten tired of in the first place, while The Ghost Is Here by Sky Cycle plays. While discussing the depressing lack of real ghost activity, Fred, Daphne, and Velma meet Lena Dupree, voiced by Tara Strong, who tells them that she works in a house that is really haunted. So without any hesitation, they all follow Lena as she leads them into the bayou where the house is located. On the ferry, they meet Jacques, voiced by Jim Cummings, who captains said boat and furthers the eeriness of the Moonscar Island's legends by mentioning how no one who goes there ever leaves. While attempting to retaliate against a sassy catfish, Scooby and Shaggy fall overboard into the alligator-infested bayou. Unfortunately for them, ferries don't turn very fast, so they're pretty much on their own, until Crocodile Dundee shows up. This is Snakebite Scruggs, voiced by Mark Hamill, who's essentially the Ahab of Louisiana, in that his goal is to catch the biggest catfish around, Big Mona. After this delightful meet and greet, Jacques gets them to Moonscar Island, where Scooby promptly wreaks havoc by chasing after the cats that make up a majority of the island's population. This doesn't result in a very good first impression with Miss Lenoir, but Lena explains the situation and Simone invites them inside her pepper plantation house. Also, there's a grouchy gardener, Bo, who seems hella suspicious. Once inside, as per the usual, Scooby and Shaggy beeline for the kitchen.
Rat food? Yuck!
You know, for everything that Scooby eats, he's obviously got a far more refined palate than most dogs. As any dog owner will tell you, the cat's food is not the only thing related to a cat that your average dog will eat. While enjoying some gumbo, Scooby and Shaggy discover just how hot the peppers grown on the Moonscar Island are. Not only that, but they encounter the presence of one of the ghosts that haunt Simone's home. And it has a pretty clear message.
Get the hell out! Get out!
After capturing some of this poltergeist-like activity, the gang reviews the footage to find that this particular ghost is that of Morgan Moonscar, the pirate the island was named after. Velma returns to the kitchen to uncover that parts of Moonscar's boat were used in the construction of the house, which could explain part of why the pirate ghost is a little pissed off. Meanwhile, Scooby engages in some more cat chasing when he and Shaggy's picnic is interrupted by said felines. In turn, they get chased by Snakebite's hunting pig, Mojo, for disturbing his fishing. While attempting to climb out of the hole they had fallen into, Shaggy and Scooby unintentionally awaken Morgan Moonscar himself, in the form of a zombie. Once again, we have Scooby-Doo teaching kids the important lessons in life. Don't disturb the final resting places of pirates, because they will resurrect and seek vengeance on your ass. Escaping the undead fury of the pirate, Scooby and Shaggy lead the rest of the gang, plus Bo, back to the hole. Given that this seems like Bo's handiwork, it raises suspicion of him. But it's getting late, and according to Simone, at night is when the supernatural activity peaks. So the gang decides to stay the night at the plantation. Another ghost sighting before dinner, and because of Scooby's continued disdain for Simone's cats, he and Shaggy eat in the mystery machine. However, it seems even here they are surrounded by cats, and decide to relocate to finish their meal. What did you expect? You've got a giant pot of crawdads. You're lucky those cats aren't lockpicking the van doors. While Fred, Daphne, and Velma theorize on why these ghosts want them off the island, and whether or not they're even real, Scooby and Shaggy choose the masochism route by eating more of those famous Moonscar Island peppers. Seeking to ease the veritable fire in their mouths, they dip their heads in a nearby lake. There they're greeted not by Jason Voorhees, but... I think there was a scene like this in The Walking Dead, actually. Also, I always thought this was one of the creepiest fucking scenes in this movie. Scooby and Shaggy's attempt to get away hits a snag when the van gets stuck, so they book it on foot only to run into Bo, literally, and turn tail the opposite direction. Fred, Daphne, Velma, Simone, and Lena hear their screams all the way back at the house, and head out to find them. Instead, they find Bo, and initiate a bit of an interrogation.
I think we should split up.
Good idea.
I'll go with Bo.
Bad idea.
I'll go with Bo. I won't let him out of my sight.
Don't worry, Daphne, we all know that Velma is a lesbian icon. She's got this. Daphne and Fred find the mystery machine and one of the zombies, just in time for Shaggy and Scooby to arrive on the scene. Much to their terror, they find that this is not some guy in a mask, like they're so used to. They're quickly, or slowly, seeing as they're dead, surrounded by zombies. They hear Lena scream and Fred loses their camera in some quicksand. This wouldn't have happened if iPhones had been invented then. We get another montage of the group running around, encountering zombie after zombie, while another song from Sky Cycle called It's Terror Time Again plays. This leads Scooby and Shaggy to tumble into a cave and find some voodoo dolls of Fred, Daphne, and Velma, which allows them to control their friends' actions. Scared by bats, Scooby and Shaggy are once again separated from the others, as Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Bo return to the house to find Lena and Simone nowhere in sight. But they do find a trap door. There they find Lena, who tells them that the zombies got Simone and dragged her down the passageway. But upon arriving at a ceremonial room, the truth is revealed, that Simone and Lena are the bad guys here. Using the voodoo dolls, they trap the four of them and proceed to give them some background. Now stick with me here. Lena and Simone are hundreds of years old, werecats, and have to drain the life of people who come to the island every harvest moon, so they can remain immortal. Apparently when Morgan Moonscar arrived on the island, he and his crew forced locals into a bayou to be eaten by alligators. Only Simone and Lena survived. They invoked their cat god, who made them werecats to seek revenge. Afterwards, they would lure people to the island just like they did with the gang. The zombies and ghosts are Lena and Simone's victims, and were trying to warn them. Oh, and as Scooby and Shaggy find out, Jacques is also a werecat. The zombies stop Jacques from capturing Shaggy and Scooby. They stumble across the ceremony room in time to mess up Simone and Lena's plans to drain the other four. With some help from the zombies, Shaggy and Scooby manage to distract Simone and Lena long enough for the other four to free themselves. They also use the voodoo dolls against the werecats. Having been occupied long enough for midnight to pass, the three werecats practically disintegrate now that their time is up. Having been avenged, the zombies also fall to pieces. And it turns out Bo was a detective investigating the disappearances of the island. Good luck on filing that report, mate. So with the mystery solved, the souls of the victims avenged, and the werecats dead, the gang leaves the island, and the credits roll with some more Sky Cycle music. Speaking of Sky Cycle, the soundtrack for Zombie Island is pretty pumped for a kid's cartoon movie. It's one of the things I remember about it from when I was younger. They produced and performed the two songs It's Terror Time Again and The Ghost Is Here specifically for this movie. The voice acting for the entire cast is spot on. You have the well-known actors who have lent their voices to these characters for years prior, and other talent was used for new characters. I had no idea that Tara Strong, Mark Hamill, and Adrienne Barbeau were involved until I started working on this review. I don't know exactly how accurate their Louisiana accents are, but they sound pretty good to me. The art and atmosphere of the film is pretty distinct, and not just because it's the classic Scooby-Doo animation. The zombie designs are terrifying, as well as the voice work for them. The Weircats look a little odd, but it works just fine for the monster concept. When the mood is light and pleasant, the colors and background add to it. Just like when the mood switches to a darker and more sinister tone, the setting complements it. The plot is on the darker side of things, especially when compared to other Scooby-Doo films. As it's been pointed out before, this is one of the first times the gang deals with real monsters instead of some guy in a mask. Not only that, but there's elements of murder, soul-sucking, and undead rising for revenge. It starts out like the comfortable premise of any Scooby-Doo mystery, and delves into a rather creepy and terrifying scenario, but then wraps it all up with a happy, child-friendly ending. With that being said, I'm giving Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island 8 out of 10 bloody thumbs up, with the combination of nostalgia and revisiting it now to find that it still holds up very well. Even the zombies are still terrifying. I actually tend to steer away from doing reviews of Scooby-Doo movies, because they don't necessarily have the same tone of horror that I look for, but this one does. With the sequel having come out just yesterday, over a decade later, if you haven't seen it yet, I very much recommend watching the original first. In general, it's just a classic Scooby-Doo movie, with great acting, atmosphere, soundtrack, and story. I recommend this film to Scooby-Doo fans of all ages, zombie fans, and anyone who's been pestered by their kid to watch a horror movie as a bit of a buffer. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like to let me know. And don't forget to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this movie. And if you have any suggestions for horror movies you'd like to see me review in the future. Also, don't forget to share this video to help the channel grow and subscribe for more videos like this. See you later.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo?